Oh, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining, for watching, for listening to these four brothers just talk a whole hell of a lot of shit. As always, I am your man, K Marble.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? It's your boy QS.
You see it down there, the Human Encyclopedia, the Big Stretch himself.
Striker.
And as always, we are your four corners of commentary.
Four communists? That's what you're about to say? We're not
nah. The four corners support communism. That's how we're going to go with.
We're not
we do not support it.
Man, forget y'all. It was a slip up, all right?
Soviets,
all right.
Russia.
I didn't even say it like that.
That's you.
Whatever, man. Well, first and foremost, once again, thank y'all for joining us. We always appreciate the love. We always, Jesus, appreciate the support.
We always appreciate Jesus, yes.
Sure. Gentlemen, what's going on?
Shit.
Like Cool Shaven Ken, I have a new clean shaven corporate appearance.
I shave too, so what?
But do you shave do you shave with a Gillette dual bladed razor like I do?
Nah, I use Quattro. I use the Quattro. Thank you.
Good for you, because I use a disposable razor to get rid of mine.
Oh,
yeah. Well, I can use mine over and over. I'm not stressing.
Because I'm the Big Stretch, a real man's man.
Real man's man.
Are you wearing plaid?
You would be the Regal of this group for sure.
Are you wearing plaid?
I am not wearing plaid. I'm not. I actually had on a plaid shirt today, but I got caught in the rain on the way to the case.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to get sick.
I had to switch shirts.
Damn, I know you got another one somewhere.
He's not a real man's man.
No, he needs the lumberjack. He needs that lumberjack plaid.
You got to wear the plaid shirt.
Flannel shirt.
You have to wear the flannel shirt.
Oh man,
rainwater dripping
juice as well.
Jeez. All right. Well, look, like as always, there's a lot to talk about: wrestling, non-wrestling, and we just kind of go off the rails as is, as always. So,
I said the descent into madness.
Oh, so let's go into. You know what? Let's talk about AEW Fyter Fest first. So Fyter Fest Part 2 was this past week. There was a couple really good matches that happened. And then we had the Barbed Wire Everywhere match that was Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho. So why don't we start? You know what? Why don't we do this? Why don't we start with the celebration for the new AEW Tag Team Champions, which is Swerve and Our Glory, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Excuse me. They look great coming out with those titles. I'll tell you that. I'm not gonna lie. I was waiting for Pyro though. I need Pyro. I need them to have Pyro. I think that would just
TK ain't giving them that.
Why not?
No damn Pyro.
Why the hell not? Everybody else got Pyro.
No Pyro.
Give them Pyro. Give them Pyro. Damn.
They have to get a tag team song, or somebody's gonna have to have their song.
Nah, they're cool with that. They're good. I think their entrance is great. That's Mark right there.
Was good, Mark.
What's good, brother, man?
Here.
So that was a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch it. I meant to send it. But last week after their title win, Keith got on the mic and he spoke about how this match wasn't really just for them, but it was for two of his closest friends. One who I believe they said found out had stage 4 colon cancer. And the other one, I'm blanking out on what happened, but I remember him posting something on Twitter about it. I believe that weekend. So on Wednesday, he also spoke about how, once again, this win wasn't just for them. It wasn't just for Swerve and himself, but he really does mean, it really is for the fans. And, I think, a lot of people talk shit about Keith's size, about his vernacular. And I personally think it's bullshit just because it's one of those things where, just because you can't relate to it doesn't mean that it's bullshit, and I mean, that's how I feel. Look, not everybody's going to be in quote unquote what you think in shape is or what you think a pro wrestler should look like. But, these are two men who's been on their grind for such a long period of time. Keith even said it the other day, like, he went and won 2 titles. He went and won, and then he went and won the fight for his life. And this is really just that, unless he goes on and wins the world title, this is kind of the icing on the cake. So once again, I'm just really happy for them. Kevin Gates knocking out Tony Nese, which looked like a clean hit. I don't know about y'all. Like, he looked like he really popped them.
I wouldn't be surprised because he's crazy. So,
I mean, one.
But I mean, you have to make it look good.
Yeah, you gotta.
No, true. Wait, I'm confused, Q.
You got one phone or you got 2 phones?
2 phones.
So this is gonna be my rating for every piece of a segment that
goes my god!
He's just sitting up there holding a sign.
I can't. I can't.
Much love, honestly, much love and respect to Keith Lee. No matter what, it's pretty touching what he dedicated the match to. Sad stories and everything aside, can we please just? I would just love for him to just speed this up to get to the point where Swerve actually finally does betray him, or he just finally betrays Swerve.
Right.
It's a feel good moment, and seeing Kevin Gates on my TV screen, I don't give 2 shits. That's
wasn't for me either.
That's what gives the rating what it is.
Right.
It could have been a 10. It stayed to a 1 because you put Kevin Gates here.
Wait, Q. I'm sorry. So just because of Kevin Gates, that entire segment gets a 1, or just Kevin gets a 1?
Oh no, the whole entire segment gets a 1. That's just no. We don't support Kevin Gates out here. So it's just like,
It was
good for a contemporary. It was a contemporary segment. It was.
I'll say this.
Right.
I think it's cool that they're branching out and doing those things, but the segment did feel like kind of okay. Like this, we could have did without this. Like when he hit Tony Nese, I was like, okay. I checked out kind of when he hit Tony Nese.
Yeah, I was just like.
It felt predictable. Like, Kevin Gates just happens to be in the front row, and it's like, look, Tony Nese just happens to be, and Smart Mark Sterling just happened to be accosting Kevin Gates. And I'm like, I wonder how this is going to end,
Kevin Gates.
Mules will get humiliated by the music star,
Though right. Smart Mark had a funny ass promo coming in. I was enjoying that part.
He damn sure did.
I wasn't expecting the 2 phones mentioned. I was not. But I mean, it's a contemporary choice. Kevin Gates was just on Carisha Please, which is Young Miami from
it's
Young Miami from City Girls. She has her own podcast. She's dating she's dating Diddy at the moment. But he just had a podcast with her, so it's very contemporary that they just put him there because all eyes are on him at this moment. Whether you like it or not.
Can we talk about how? Oh, sorry, I didn't really. You froze a little. My bad, bro.
Yeah, whether you like it or not, that's how it's gonna be. They're gonna try and pull the contemporary card, but it's more so. Hey, I've got black champions. Let's show as much black people as we can in one segment. That's basically how. I see it.
Yeah, it's like there's so much black champions, but then you go and turn and you show the wrong black people as said champions. That's the problem. Like your show. You could have.
You're not showing anybody beneficial.
You could have shown any other hip hop star. You could have shown You could have shown. You did show Jermaine Dupri. You could have literally shown.
That was pretty cool.
You could have shown.
Was it?
Hell, I would have been okay if you went and brought out Shad Moss. You showed Kevin Gates.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about Shad. You know what I would have paid money to see? If I would have saw Bow Wow and then Orlando Brown did a run in. I wouldn't
have even cared if you decided to just show if you show Chris Brown on my screen. You show Kevin Gates.
Nah, Chris Brown would have been dope because he would have did something in the ring. I put money on it.
Would have did something that would have been more entertaining. And this is like, Kevin Gates is like, this is really where we going. I was just like, all right, whatever.
No, true. But I'm not gonna front. I was a little disappointed that Keith didn't powerbomb Mark through the table. I thought that was going to be that spot. I feel like everybody kind of thought that was going to be the spot. But all in all, once again, we're real happy for our new tag team champions, and hopefully they have an amazing run.
Wait, Steven, that's in the cards.
Yeah. So we just talked about Jermaine Dupri, whom for y'all younger viewers, if we have any under
who weren't born at that
28,
time.
Right?
Yeah. 27. I don't know. So Jermaine Dupri runs So Def record label, had Bow Wow, had Brat, had Jagged Edge. He showed up with the TBS champion Jade and Kira Hogan and Stokely Hathaway. So they had a tag match with Athena and Willow Nightingale. Good match, fun match. I'll leave it at that. Fun match. I'm really excited to see Athena and
more excited to see what he's writing down on his sign there. Actually, I'm into this. I want to know what he thinks.
I just want to know if it's a dry erase marker.
No, it's a Sharpie.
No, you're gonna be seeing a lot of scratches.
Is it a bunch of 10 or
cardboard?
It's either, honestly, for this show of AEW Fighter Fest, it's either a lot of these segments are either just going to be a 1 or they're going to be a 10.
Okay.
It's not.
Wow.
No in between, which is fine.
It was hit or miss.
So either it's going to, it's either going.
So it's either good or bad, basically.
Yeah, it's either really good or really bad. I'm not giving you a middle. I'm not giving you an intermediate. It's just either 1 or a 10.
And that's fine.
Yes, sir. So what are you giving this, Q?
I mean, once again, like, it just was random to see JD like show up. It was just like
super random. Well, they were in Atlanta, so
I get it. Yeah, you're in Atlanta, but at the same time, I was just like, okay. I just, you know what? I'm just more. I guess it's a roll the odds moment with AEW on like trying to include hip hop into this to contemporary. It's like because it's like, okay, we have some black champions. So it's like, oh yeah, we got to get black hip hop stars onto the mix. What? It's to me that's like it just comes off with pandering. Yep. But
I mean, Q, I'm sorry to cut you off real quick. Just don't forget there, and because I don't want that narrative to be completely just on that one point. He has brought out hip hop stars before, and there wasn't any like black wrestling around, so. I do actually think TK is a fan of hip hop, you know what I mean, or at least a fan of rap. I mean, we don't know, you know what I mean. So this is all just speculation, but
yeah, I mean,
I don't think he would just do it for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's speculation.
Uzi Vert was for no fucking reason, but okay.
It's speculation, but I think I want to be very confident. I think I'm a little confident in the. I don't know. Like I said, yeah, I don't know Tony Khan's playlist, and I don't care to. I don't want to know his playlist actually, but I highly doubt that Jermaine Dupri was like part of that playlist from back in the day. I highly doubt it, especially with the new age of fans. You ain't gonna tell me that all of a sudden you just putting in JD. You putting in JD. You might for all of that. You might as well just brought out their franchise boys. You might as well brought out their franchise boys. You might as well brought out the Brat. You might as well brought out like
D4L.
Like if you're gonna bring the baddie section, just bring the baddie section to So Death. But because it's Jade, and I'm not going to go anything against Jade, it gets this. You know
there we go.
No matter what, I don't go against Jade completely. I mean, I was a little put off by like seeing JD there, but it's still a good match.
Honestly, I think it's Stokely doing this shit. If you really want me to be honest, I think
then,
it's Stokely.
It probably is Stokely.
For me, it was cool seeing Jermaine Dupri sit next to Stokely Hathaway.
Yeah, that was pretty.
I marked for that. Like when they cut the camera to them and they were just talking, I was like, "That's pretty."
Like even he was marking out on Twitter. He was like, "Oh, I'm sitting next to JD."
Yeah, because they practically look the same. Yes.
Yo, for real. Real.
They practically look the same.
The match was all right.
Yeah,
I knew Willow was going to take the fall. I feel like that was kind of obvious.
I mean,
it was either going to be Willow or Kira, and with Jade involved, she's still undefeated, so they wasn't going to give her that loss.
Yeah,
like her loss is going to be when the title is on the line.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it's Athena though. I think Athena's taking it.
I think so too.
I really don't know. They seem to be pushing it like they're saying like it's going to be Chris versus Jade, and I'm just like,
Well, Athena did do you worry about the world title, and then I'll take the TBS. So they did kind of separate it to where, Jade is gonna, Chris is gonna chase after the AEW Women's title. So who knows? Honestly, you know what I mean? It could be, who knows? So, stupid. And we're just the very last thing we'll talk about, I guess, during it is the barbed wire everywhere match. So let's talk about the fuck ups first and get that out the way. We knew it. We knew that was coming.
I knew he was gonna do that.
He's gonna stay there for the entire.
So Ty Conti not opening the lock, and then two of the talent
bad cut of cardboard for me. Trophy.
Yeah, right. With the two squeezing through the ring. Squeezing through the shark cage.
I'm like that shit was. Oh my god!
That spot was so bad.
You know what it is, and I believe it was a timing issue because that makes no sense that they fucking did that. One.
Wait, which part?
The sliding through the fucking cage. I said it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, they should have just waited.
Only reason I say that is because it might have been a time issue. Because remember, we were down to the last 5 minutes of the match. So Ty's trying to open the fucking lock. I'm like, bruh, you're gonna spend all that time doing the fucking lock when you could have easily just had it clink clink, have it open. But it seemed like she was having trouble with the lock. So everybody's saying, it makes her look dumb. I'm like, she's not really the brightest tool in the shed.
That's hilarious.
As a character. So it's whatever. The booking was bad. Yeah. The ending was bad. Not only was the ending bad.
I guess this is kind of what QS has been saying for a while, right? And he said it with who was it? It wasn't Cody, right? Was it Cody? It's kind of the same thing with Eddie. It's like, why do you make him go through all of these hoops just to lose to Jericho? There's no reason Eddie should have lost that match.
There's a reason.
The feud is going on way too goddamn long, I think.
That's true, too.
The feud should have ended in blood and guts.
What the hell?
The feud is going on way too long.
What just happened?
Man just put on the
penthouse,
the virtual background.
Fucking
he completely disappeared.
This is so fucking stupid.
You put on a virtual background. I can't.
Oh my god, this is so fucking this is terrible. What the fuck is this?
But
QS has gone to the penthouse, ladies.
Oh my god, I have to go upstairs.
But
oh Lord. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. But yeah, it's still a 1. Yeah, it's a 1. It's a 1 for me. That's probably never going to fucking change. This is where we need to finally have a conversation about Eddie Kingston and these horrible fucking losses in these big fucking moments. We have to finally just be real with ourselves. You cannot convince me that Eddie is one of the top baby faces in this company. when all this time he's not every time there's a big fucking match, every time there's a time for him to get this big one, to get the big win, it's a no. Oh, it's always a no. It's either a big loss. Out of all of these big gimmick matches that AEW has had, that Eddie Kingston has been a part of, do y'all know what his record is?
2-10. I'm gonna say, wait, what?
It's 2-10.
I know what it is. 2-10.
I like how the camera just shook.
2-10.
I like how the camera just shook.
What, mine?
2-10.
Yeah, what you said? What?
Oh, because I'm over
yeah, the man is 2-10 in these gimmick matches, in high profile matches. 2-10. It's actually, and it's sad. It's very sad because again, this is the same one that we have to gravitate towards, and we think that we can relate to so much because this is the guy who came. He put out his story in the Players Tribune. You really relate to that. That hit the soul. Yeah. Yo, he's the people's champ, and then he fucking loses. And then not only does he lose, you still have him come out on top in the end to still like come out as a victor. So then for all of that, what was the point of him losing?
He gets his heat back regardless.
This is where it's just like, if you lost to if you got hit by a Judas effect wrapped in a barbed wire, you're supposed to the common folk, you're supposed to be knocked out for probably for the entirety of the show.
The rest of the show, yep.
Instead, you somehow got up, beat the crap out of the henchman, and then you go and throw Jericho into the barbed wire to end the show. Then what was the fucking point of you losing?
Wait, right. And not only to do that, but to add that they missed the spot with him throwing the back fist and Sammy being on top of the side of Jericho. Like, come on.
It's like, bro, like it's like, and I hate, and I don't want to be the one to like compare, but you know what? You have to end up putting it this way. But if you saw this type of match or this type of choreography, if you saw this shit on Monday night, on Tuesday night, or on Friday night, giving this shit
crucified, yeah.
But anytime y'all see a bust like this, and especially when it comes to an Eddie Kingston match, all of a sudden, oh well, you know, I think it's actually pretty solid. I wish that he went over, but it was still a solid match.
Right?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't even like that.
You got to keep the same energy.
It wasn't good at all. Like you can admit it and just say like, you know what? Maybe this shouldn't have been a main event. I would have felt better that if this just started the show, it'd been like, all right, well,
right,
bullshit out the way. You straight up like made this the main event, and then it's just like, yo, like when are y'all going to finally just like have that sit down and have that conversation and be like, yo, this just isn't good. It's not good. It's bad booking. There's nothing smart about this. This is clearly a feud that has gone on for way too long. It's 7 months. 7 months. And like I said, in the 7 months that this is all going on, all of these gimmick matches that have came up, y'all champion. This is someone that y'all have projected to end up probably being a future AEW world champion is 2-10. When it comes to the big one, he's 2-10. He's only beaten Jericho. And I believe and it was the blood and guts match. That's it.
Yeah.
Every other big one, he's lost.
And they could have just ended it as blood and guts.
If this was supposed to be another big one, he lost again. That's the fucking point.
Yeah.
I know some people, bros, I know some people are gonna sit here and tell me like, oh, you know, hey man, like, you know, he's like Tommy Dreamer, you know, he's just here to collect the check. So this is really what we're gonna we're gonna make excuses for. Yeah, I'm just here to collect the check and vibes. No, you want to be great. You want to be a champion. This is what everybody gets into this business to do. They want to be a champ. They want to get, if that's the case, the same way that I put this record of Eddie Kingston in these big matches, 2-10, you could compare this to sports and be like, you could bring the ring conversation in. 2-10 in the finals is not something to gloss over.
Ain't cutting it.
That's not good.
Definitely not good.
Mark said, I think somebody really needs to sit down with Chris at this point and let him know it's time to hang it up.
Yeah, the match was sloppy, but it seemed like he was not silly early in the match.
Chris?
Yeah, I think from the first back fist that he took, he was not silly.
It caught him clean.
Yeah. Knocked the whip out of him. You know, you saw it. It was like, oh boy.
You said
the reason he went over?
Hey, yo. I mean, I know people call him a racist, but then Oh.
And the thing is like, yeah, I know Chris is in his 50s. So it's like, yeah, Chris is in his 50s, and granted, we love to see like that how Chris can always reinvent himself. You know, he comes out with the Painmaker gimmick. It's just like
that's the only reason he went over.
But
that's the only reason he went over.
Yeah, exactly.
I that, and also because we might have to really have this conversation that Eddie Kingston is just not that fucking good.
No, I agree too.
But it's just like for someone in your 50s, this is where you gotta like really sit down with yourself and just it's not even hang it up. It's just like, bro, like I don't want to see a 50-year-old in these type of gimmick matches. He doesn't need to be.
That's true.
There was no need for this match. There was no need for
no need for that ending. Did you see how he was shaking when he hit the fucking barbed wire?
Oh, I mean, obviously that was to sell it all. That was
the Devon spot.
But really look at how he went into the pit. And then you see, like, the barbed wire was actually went like through his nose and shit. Yeah, like, I know he's selling, but you're older. Shit hurts worse. You understand what I mean? So
it takes longer to recover. Also,
bro, like it looked like, bro, even like the sequence of when they were trying to get the final hit with the Judas effect. It was just like, yo, what the fuck?
It's going on too long. Like,
are y'all serious?
It's going on way too long. Like, the feud to me should have ended at Blood and Guts, where it's like, okay, he didn't make Jericho tap out. Now, they could have easily transitioned him into a feud with Claudio, which I think is his next step. Because honestly, to me, he's been a face for way too long. To me, I get it. He never really. I mean, he turned, but his turn
still
to me wasn't even really all that special.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's still him. Like there is no real difference.
Yeah. He turned primarily because of the article he read, which is a really good read for anybody that's seen it. That he wrote in the Players Tribune, which garnered him a lot of sympathy and got the momentum really rolling behind him as a face. And when he beat Jericho, like he was at his peak, I think, as a face, and they didn't really capitalize on that because they have this Jericho Appreciation Society, which are the quote unquote sports entertainers, as if anybody else in the company isn't one. And they've done all these things that are like kind of hokey and supposed to be like sports entertainment-ish. And I get it, because that's like, that is like the quintessential heel to this type of fan base. Like the internet wrestling fan is like the AW fan base. And it's like, we get it. Like the hokey things, they're not going to, it like instant heel heat, but he's been subjected to so much and he never freaking wins. He's like a modern day Tommy Dreamer without the longevity at this point. It's like he has to win something in order to be remotely interesting.
He has the longevity.
Well, I mean,
it's just not. Not
sustained longevity.
Hear me out.
You want to know the last big win that Tommy Dreamer had when he won the ECW championship when WWE revived.
He had more success in WWE. He had more success in ECW when WWE bought it.
And even then, that wasn't even like a wow. It was just like, oh, okay.
I don't think that a character that constantly loses in today's age can stay over.
Yeah.
More people are just going to be like, well, when is he going to win? Like, he's always losing. More people are going to speculate over that rather than it's not like it's not going to feel triumphant when he wins.
I told you, Stretch. It's just vibes. All he's doing is just like, yo, I'm here to collect check, beat people up in vibes. That's it.
He's a better messenger. I'll say these two things. I'm going to cut you off. One, I think they missed something with the CM Punk, the short CM Punk feud he had.
Yes.
CM Punk
still his best feud.
And Jericho kind of harped on this too. Like, I think that if they would play up to the angle where he loses primarily because he's afraid of losing himself, like if like
Kingston
he got successful,
he
would be afraid to lose his authentic self. That would at least justify.
But that's basically it. Yeah,
time. Like that would at least justify it. And I don't think they play up on that enough. With that said, I think he is way better suited to be a manager than a wrestler. I think he's an excellent promo. I love hearing him talk because it sounds very authentic and it sounds very raw. I think he is a way better managerial candidate than he is a wrestler. I think like his I get it. Like he's supposed to be like the everyman and everything. Like the fans are supposed to be right to him because it's like, oh, this is he's like the quintessential like Queens dude that just happens to tape trade Japanese wrestling. Like he does like the Misawa chops and everything like that. But to me, it's like, okay, like you got it from Misawa. It's like, and like, why am I supposed to care about that? Like, I don't give a damn what he does in the ring. Is what he says that hooks me. You know, I think he's a way better manager than he can ever be as a wrestler because his bread and butter is talking. And it's like, how many more outside of his match against Jericho, which was like the biggest pop he's gotten in AEW, how many more losses can we take before it's like, well, he's going to talk a good game and he's going to talk us into seats, but we all know how this is going to end. Like he loses.
He's going to lose.
Like,
but we're at this point now
to be interesting at this point. Like to me, at least.
Like you can't tell me
loses.
You can't you cannot tell me, can sit here and tell me or tweet to me that this guy is one of the roster's biggest stars that they have on paper. And it's just like, no, he's not.
I think he can get over at the fact that like
he could just talk. He can talk.
I mean, I look at it like similar to what happened with like Bayley in NXT when she constantly kept losing, but it's like they threw her a bone every now and then. Like they kept her like strong. Like he loses every fucking time he wrestles damn near. I'm like, it doesn't matter the opponent. Like he always freaking loses. And I'm like, Jesus. Unless he gets like a throwaway win here or there. But it's like so
dark.
Predictable. Like you gotta give him something. Right.
Either on
give
dark
him
or
something
rampage,
that he can freaking win.
Yeah.
Like at this point, if they made a hardcore division or a hardcore title and they gave it to him, he would be perfect for that. Like,
but you see, that's the thing. Like you're gonna subject him to like the Mick Foley or hardcore Hollywood.
Right. You're gonna keep him in gimmicks.
He's so naturally over to the point where it's like he doesn't have to kill himself every time he wrestles. Now, that's a problem within itself because people are starting to expect it, but you know, he doesn't have to kill himself every time he freaking wrestles. Like,
yeah.
You know, if he's a good enough talker to me where he can get by without being the most quote unquote fashionable looking athlete, because I think it's stupid that people body shame him. Like, if you're going to body shame him, like there's plenty more people you can go after that's worse without saying like, I don't think it's right that people do it anyway. But with that said,
agreed.
He's a good enough talker to where he does not have to rely on being like Bret Hart level good. Like he can get by on talking. Like look at the Miz. The Miz is not a technical marvel by any means or whatever have you. He doesn't do 50 variations of a suplex, but he's a good wrestler because he talks people into seats. He talks to people in such a way where you want to see him get killed. I think Kingston has a lot of those same qualities, whether it be a heel or a face, because he comes across as very authentic. But at the same token, he has to succeed at something in order to break this cycle. You know,
agreed.
It's like, oh well, this guy, you know, it's like watching, for example, if we knew that, you know, the Sacramento Kings were going to play the Warriors and they started cutting promos about how they can beat them. Like, we know how this story is going to end. Like, who cares at this point what anyone has to say? Like, they're going to get massacred. We know this, you know?
Yeah. I mean, look, I at this point, it is what it is. I don't really think there's much more to be said about it.
The shit was terrible. It was bad. Like that's the only thing we can really like say.
And I mean the only other major thing was the Anna Jay turn, but
that's not even major.
What's going on? Like
that's all.
At this point, it's just a clusterfuck of things.
So we can already she's out the Dark Order. It seems like they're trying to phase the Dark Order out anyway.
When Tay Conti fumbled with the lock, that was so bad.
Oh my god!
Because it's like, well, I can't get this unlocked, and it's like, you guys are supposed to wait here until I unlock this door, and then they all say, "Screw it, let's fit through the bars." Like,
two of them.
Why wait? Why wait for her to come over with the keys?
No, it's like if it's not bad booking decisions for that. It's like my only other problem with the promotion is that they keep having these like pay-per-view main event matches on a weekly television series when it's just like, yo, save this for the pay-per-view. It
was too much. It was overbooked.
It's times where you just want to go in the back and just slap Tony Khan. You just want to slap him like, yo, wake up.
At least separate him.
You know how bad it is when QS's glasses ain't staying on, man. You know,
like you get so annoyed by it. I'd be like, yo, like, all right.
If not if you're going to continue to do these type of matches, do the specials on. Don't do them 3 weeks in a row.
Right.
Do them. You can do them once every month, since your pay-per-views are pretty much once every quarter, essentially.
Every 3 to 4 months, yeah.
Yeah, once every quarter, and that's that's.
Not everybody knows what quarter is.
They usually don't, but
Then they need to go back to school. Bottom line is there's other ways to approach things. Sure. So it is what it is. The first part was better than the second part. All right. So my question to you guys is, do we talk about the savior or do we talk about one of the greatest factions? Y'all can pick.
I'm guessing this is in regards to what young boy said. Old boy had said. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Kobe. I guess it's in regards to what Kobe was saying on the interview. I mean, well, we could talk about it. We could talk about I guess you can say it is great. It's safe to say that yes, that he was part of one of the greatest factions ever. It is one of the.
Do y'all need the quote?
No, I think I got it. Oh, never mind.
I have
it.
All right. So, long story short, I can't even make it real full. Oh, I made the other one full screen.
No, because everybody. I think everybody can read from that standpoint.
Yeah, we can see it from here. It's bigger than it looks.
Saying that I can say that, and maybe this might come back to bite him in the ass at some point. He just doesn't think that we're ever going to see the three of them team up ever again. It wouldn't look the way that you wanted to look.
Right.
It wouldn't be like the old days in the Shield. It would be a different animal. I think we're all just two big stars with two big personalities at this point. Yep. We needed each other back then, and now none of us need the other one. We're at a point where we're all standalone stars on a different level. So it has to kind of minimize that to fit into each other's. I just don't see it ever happening again. I think it would look a whole lot different than the next time you see us together. The next time you would probably see us together, it's going to be when we're inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's going to be
true.
It.
Yeah.
And not gonna lie,
take it down.
I agree with Kobe.
Get rid of it.
Seth has a pretty good point to say that all three of them are finally their own individuals, and they can stand alone. They can't. Back in the day, the Shield, they all needed each other, and this is what made it work. What's going on, Jesse? This is what made the Shield work. What always made the Shield work is that they worked as a unit, and they were like hungry, and they were hungry. They were hungry animals feeding off each other. Now you see them now. They don't need to feed off each other at all. Seth is probably obviously one of the top 5 best wrestlers in the world at this point. John Moxley, he's the AEW interim world champion. Roman Reigns, he's tribal chief. He's the double universal.
Keep going. Go ahead. Keep going.
Champion. He's that so-called. He's in the greatest stage of his career. He's in that GOAT mode, God mode, all that shit. You could never. It would not for those three to link back together and have a Shield reunion. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work in this modern age
because there's nothing bigger than those three people at
this moment. It's like, and the one thing that's gonna break this whole thing up again is ego. All their egos are gonna battle each other, and it's no point,
right?
Because they're all gonna basically look at each other like I'm the GOAT. Roman obviously he's gonna basically feel like he's the GOAT. Seth is gonna feel like he's the GOAT.
Roman's gonna be like, Mox, yeah.
Yeah, it just so it's like it's always gonna be a battle. It's always gonna be a fight. They're probably always gonna argue creatively, have their differences. So it would make sense. The only time that you would probably see these three in the same atmosphere again, it would have to be when they're getting inducted, and that's safe and that's fair. Will we ever see these three in the same ring together again? I wouldn't say.
Who knows?
I would say never.
Right.
I wouldn't say never. I think they would be able to be in the same ring again. But it would have to be like all three of them against each other. It would have to be against each other. That's the only way you can see those three in the same ring again. They have to be against each other.
So, the only reason I call, well, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why I call them one of the greatest of all time. I mean, you got to think of if y'all haven't watched, let's see, we're in 22, so what, 2014, 13, something like that. They busted onto the scene, doing the what they now call the Shield Bomb to Ryback, when he was facing CM Punk for the WWE title.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I even said his name. I'm talking about Ryback. Yeah. Oh, I said it again. They truly have. They ended up being one of the greatest factories of all time. And honestly, it's not only the things that they've done together, but the things they've done separately. I mean, you think of it this way: they've won the tag titles and the U.S. title in the same night, and that was within the first 2 months of them being there.
Yep.
3 months, something like that. They're the only faction to hold the WWE title in one night.
Right.
Like, that's crazy.
They've all interchanged titles at one point too. That's kind of crazy as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like I said, it was all one night. Like, that in itself is bananas. Roman came out champion, Steph beat him for the title, and then Dean cashed in. Like, that's wow. That's a big deal. And then all of them have become world champions, multiple time world champions. And have they been in some iffy storylines? Yeah, but that's the way the business goes.
Yeah.
Everything QS said, I completely agree with. There's no debut. What? There's no dispute about it. Look, I hope. Oh yeah. Oh, good point. And the fact that they took on Evolution and beat them twice in a row was a big deal.
Clean sweep.
You know what I mean? But look, man, the Shield. It's like what I say about the New Day, man. The Shield is by far one of the best 3-man factions to ever hit the scene. To think that Reigns would have been Chris Hero at one point is crazy to me. It's hard to see it now. You know what I mean? After everything they've been through.
There's only, I think, one tag team that actually, I'd say, still has had the best over the Shield to actually beat them and beat them clean.
The Wyatt family.
Absolutely. That's all.
Yeah.
It was the Wyatt.
There was another team, believe it or not, that had the Shield's number.
Daniel Bryan, Kane,
the Rhodes dynasty.
Oh, the Rhodes. Yeah. You're right.
They beat them twice, I believe, right?
Rhodes brothers beat them for their jobs and beat them
for the titles.
Yeah, it was twice.
Rhodes brothers actually had their number.
Some of the best matches.
You know what?
The bronze tag titles.
I was just about to get that. What you're about to say, I was just about to say it. I know where you're going.
I would say one of the. I hate using the term worst, but one of the worst pay-per-views I saw was like that Battleground 2000. I think it was 2014 when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only match worth writing home about. It was.
I think that was the only storied match, like the actually deep story match.
That match, as far as to me, as a fan of professional wrestling, whatever you want to call it. That's like the quintessential match. Like, that's what a match lead up and execution of a payoff should be.
Right.
It was a feel-good moment. The family aspect of it. They were fighting for their jobs. They had Dusty in the corner. Dusty was able to hold off Ambrose at the time. Moxley at the time.
Because that's when
the bionic elbow and everybody.
Yeah, because that's when Dusty also came with the cowbell. He was coming with the cowbell.
He came with the cowbell, and he was cutting the promos that led up to it. It felt you got invested in it. You wanted to see the Rhodes family win, and they did it. It was a perfect payoff, and they were able to keep that momentum going for a while. The tag team division back then was pretty good. And the Rhodes family was one of the better tag teams that they had at the time. And
you had Los Matadores, who was formerly Primo and Epico. You had the New Day, you had the Shield,
Shining
you had the
Stars
Wyatt
of the Caribbean.
family. Huh?
The Shining Stars of the Caribbean. I used to do that to
the
Striker all the time.
timeshare.
I used to love
The
the theme. I
timeshare.
used to
Oh
do that.
my
I used to pop every time they would come on the screen. Come, the Shining
God.
Stars of the Caribbean.
But
Yeah,
right.
good times, good times.
But yeah, man. I thought that was an interesting thing for him. But yeah, man. Look. Bottom line, we know they're going into the Hall of Fame. We know they're going individually and together. You know, it'll be a number of years before that. But you know, I think we'll all be real excited when we get there. You know what? I think I'm gonna save that one for last because I want to end on a good note. So let's talk about this women's tag division. All right. So as we know, Sasha and Naomi were the WWE Women's Tag Champions, and they walked out because they were unhappy with booking and storytelling and the fact that there wasn't any true emphasis on the women's tag division. They done fired majority of the women's tag teams, and then
Or at least
fired.
pieces of a women's tag
I was
team
about to say
division.
that they fired tag teams, and they fired pieces of tag teams. So I think they really fucked it up on that part. Recently, this past week on NXT, well, 2 weeks ago on NXT, Cora Jade, who was the NXT Women's Champion with Roxy, what's her last name in the E?
Roxanne Perez.
Perez. Wait, is it Perez?
Yeah.
Yes, Roxanne Perez.
Because I
AKA
just
Roxy.
Yeah.
I just call her Roxy still. By the way, former ROH Women's Champion. That was literally right, or a little while before ROH was off TV. So
remember that the first.
The first what?
She's the first ROH Women's Champion.
No, she's not.
I thought she was. I thought that was the whole thing.
No. Mm-mm.
So do you know who the first was?
Saraki Shumai, maybe. I thought it was a Japanese wrestler, actually.
Well, we'll look that up.
I do believe there's definitely a few before her because I remember that title specifically. Excuse me. But anyways, so literally the week after they win the women's tag championships, Cora jumps Roxy. Was it jealousy? Was it because she was fighting for the women's title? Whatever the case may be. It seems to me, and to a lot of people, and this is also something that we already knew, Vince has never been high on tag teams for some fucking reason. He's never been a tag team guy. He's never really been a faction guy, even though we had a whole era full of them shits at one point. I think it's a shame because not only did we have the women work and bust their ass to gain these titles, to bring these titles into a company like the WWE, but within what 3 years, pretty much it's shitty. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I think women's tag team wrestling is just as prevalent as men's tag team wrestling. I think it's just as important. I think they should show it the respect it deserves. But yeah. So I don't know. I think it's bullshit. But
I mean, I wouldn't even say that it's bullshit because everyone's like, I think everyone's like, they're jumping to the ultimate conclusions because again, everyone is still reeling and still recovering from we don't know what's really going on with Sasha and Naomi, so everyone just feels like that's just the narrative that everyone keeps placing on it. I've seen so many people jump to the conclusions. Cora Jade putting her part of the title into the trash is not a shot to the death of the women's tag team division. It's not a shot to Sasha and Naomi. It's not. If people, this isn't to anyone on the panel. This is to everyone else that is watching us who are probably in the Gen Z category. If you did not recall, there was a point in time during the Monday Night Wars where Medusa did show up.
Yep.
Monday Night Nitro, and she talked her cat shit, and she then proceeded to throw the WWF Women's Championship in the trash. Yep. That's where everybody has to realize, like,
that's where that scene came from. Yeah,
that's where the scene came from. It comes from because once again, the thing about it is in professional wrestling is that a lot of the things that we grew up on gets recycled. That was a moment in history that just got recycled again. It goes full circle. Because if you really look at it, the NXT Women's Tag Division, it's all right.
It's decent.
It's all right. It's still all right.
It's better than the main roster.
Roxanne Perez is still labeled a tag team champion. She just teamed up with Vega, so she's gonna probably have to find a partner to replace Cora Jade. Now,
I think that a lot of good can come from this. Number one, this isn't the first time in WWE history that this has happened. Yeah. So please, let's get off that high horse. Like
in terms of what, the throwing away the belts.
No, you're right. I remember being a 5-year-old kid when Shawn Michaels, of all people, threw down the World Tag Team Championships.
Yep.
When Diesel turned on him and became face. So I've seen it happen before. Like, this is not the first time that a star
it's not the end.
I mean, we've seen it's taken a title and said, you know what, screw it, I'm not doing this anymore.
And
it's precedent for it.
To say
real quick, just this point, and I just thought about it too. You know how we were just talking about that being Medusa's spot rehash?
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's a mix of two spots. It's A, Medusa, and B, Rollins and Ambrose.
Yeah, Rollins and Moxley, Ambrose,
Because it all goes back to that original, and hell, Medusa approved it. She fucking approved that segment. So it's just like, she was cheering for it. So it's just like, okay, what are we really getting upset about? Everyone's trying to say like, it's not giving the respect to the women's tag team division, but there is respect to the women's tag team division. You guys actually got to see, if you watch NXT Weekly, you guys don't watch Katana Chance and Casey Carter,
Kaden
right?
Carter, yeah.
Kaden Carter. You have
yeah.
Toxic Attraction. Toxic Attraction was literally holding down this fucking women's tag team division for about a good year. They were holding it down.
They have minimum
established tag teams already. So to me, it sucks.
And I said, I think in the matter of the women's tag team division with WWE, the only unfortunate thing is because of the pandemic and because of the times that we were in, where it was a lot of massive budget cuts had to happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
There had to be a couple of people that had to end up getting clipped.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to sit here and say like, oh, they're a multi-billion-dollar company. How are you going to fire these people during the pandemic? You'll be surprised how many people actually got fired during the pandemic. You'll be surprised.
Yeah.
It's not as cut and dry as you want to assume. I get it.
And it's not just talent either. Like people are forgetting that.
Yeah, but we're speaking like specifically like why the women's tag team division is what it is in WWE. It's because it was the budget cuts. It is what it is. Obviously, if they really wanted to, if they could, maybe in a dream world, bring them all back. Bring them all back is okay. Because then if they bring them all back, are y'all gonna be happy then? Or are you gonna actually watch the women's tag team division? Or y'all gonna
they're not.
Someone complain. This is where we gotta skip all the semantics on that. I think. But I do believe, like, it's not to say that the women's tag team division is dead. I don't think it's not dead. It's just like, honestly, at the time, it was in the time that it came about, there was a full stack roster. Yes, it made sense to have women's tag team titles to give them something else to compete for. Unfortunately, the pandemic happened, and then the Thunderdome happened, so you wasn't able to really so you had to dwindle everything down because you had to cut costs. Unfortunately, that meant you had to cut a lot of talent. So because that dwindled the tag team division as is. Hell, you see it in the women's division. The women's division is kind of dwindled a little bit because there's not that many people on the main roster to really compete for it. It's not that many. You have to end up trying to pull all of these these people on 2.0 to try to get them on the main roster, but they're still not ready. Unless the only other thing that they can do is what? Either hire back the talent again, or better yet, bring them from the NXT UK. That's the only thing that they can
That's
do.
basically what it seems like. You're bringing new talent, or you're bringing in people from the college, the college hiring thing that they're doing, or you're bringing people from NXT UK. You're bringing them to establish them in NXT 2.0, and then you send them right up to the main roster. I don't see the problem with it. I also think that the women's tag division in NXT benefits a lot more from them having the titles dropped to bring out these mixed match tag teams.
Personally, I just think they didn't need to make an NXT women's tag division, and yet they have a tag team champion division on the main roster. I personally didn't think that.
They didn't need to split.
Not with the way they originally set it up.
Yeah, that did not need to happen. Even when they had a full stack, they didn't need that. Jesse,
didn't we talk about this?
Jesse, to answer your question, there was actually more than 100 people, more than hundreds of people got clipped from where we work at, and that's not only because of cutting costs. That's because they didn't want to take a vaccine. That's a whole conversation for another day. But the point that we really trying to make here is you can't. They just did. It wasn't needed to have two different sets of tag team championships for that particular division. It just wasn't needed.
Agreed.
Especially when we all know women's division in all of these companies, the women's division is always not always. They're not on the same level as it is with the men. Granted, we love and we respect women's wrestling more than anything, but if we're gonna talk about
only Impact has that amount of love.
If we're going to talk about Impact, or we're going to talk about standing, in this hierarchy, y'all know in this world that we live in, it's always been everybody looks with the men more than anything. Even though the women are the one that really have been killing shit, women have been the one that have been closing the shows. Women have been the one that actually been carrying these fucking companies. It's the same because the same thing that you have with WWE, it's the same gripe that we kind of would have with AEW. AEW has a lot of women's tag teams that are basically forming, but do I want them to form a women's tag team title division? Hell no. They don't need it because it's not strong enough talent. It's not strong enough talent for that. It's just going to be it's going to be the same issue.
Yeah, let me get to these comments real quick. So Margot's Roxy was actually the first women's champ. She wasn't. She was the first ROH world women's world champion, but there was a Women of Honor title before this.
Was before that, right?
So I get what y'all saying, but that's why I was saying what I was saying. Jesse goes, I think they need to respect because so many women paved the way for other women to be in a position they are in now.
True.
Absolutely.
A lot of those women are not in the company now, though, unfortunately. But
yeah, look, I think all in all, I think it was a missed. It was.
They can still capitalize on the opportunity.
Because
I don't want to say miss.
Right. Because this thing came over it's not. I wouldn't even want to say it's a missed opportunity. It's just because
it wasn't. You're right.
I think it's they just gotta. You know what? We're gonna put this in the back burner and we're gonna try to regroup along the way, and maybe along the years when we could try to get it back to what it was, then we could try to reintroduce it slowly in. Because that's okay. Just
the Pioneers are out right now. One is
I have a hot take.
For her.
Redesign, rebuild, and reclaim. That's it.
Okay, Seth.
I
do have a hot take though, and I think they can easily rectify this. You're about to drop the NXT Tag Championship. Sorry, the women's NXT Tag Championship. I'm pretty sure Roxanne's gonna end up dropping it. Instead of you having an strictly NXT Women's Tag Team Championship, you happen to meld that and make it back to what it was before. And you have it as an inter-promotional thing. You have women from NXT UK. You have people from NXT 2.0. You have people from the main roster. Because a lot of the women ain't doing shit. We're getting 6 women tag team matches. We're getting randomized tag team matches. We're getting all this random shit. You have pieces. But the beauty of it with NXT is they're building characters. So you can benefit of having these mismatched characters or mismatched people in NXT get together to make a tag team because they're still trying to build their names. That's essentially what Caden Carter and Katana Chance was before they became a tag team. So they have all the pieces to rectify this shit. It's just a matter of what do they want to spend time on.
I think part of the problem too, and this isn't to say that the right people didn't hold the titles at the right time, because Toxic Attraction definitely got those titles at the right time. Period.
Yep.
But Q, when I meant missed opportunities, I didn't necessarily mean the entire division as a whole, or the entire history of the women's tag division. I mean more so for certain teams, for certain people.
Oh yeah.
Like more of the more the specifics. You know what I mean? In the whole. So like Casey and whatever.
Yeah, Caden and Katana, that was
you know what I
the
mean?
team
That's
that should have won the fucking titles.
That's
they
a missed
won the
opportunity.
titles.
We know the Iconics won it at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a smart call. That was a good call. They won it on the big stage. They were over. People wanted them to win. You have multiple tag teams in NXT right now, and even with the people who were just mashed together when the WWE women's titles were still relevant, they still weren't. You had Tamina and Natalia. We know we had the Golden Role Models. They were killing it with all the titles. Especially during a time where we didn't think anybody was going to be able to do well at all. You know what I mean? With no fans in the crowd.
The difference between that and now is those titles were defended in NXT.
No. And that's why I'm leading. The fact that to me, when I mean missed opportunities, once again, I mean the fact that no NXT team held those titles were ridiculous.
I mean,
there's no reason that shouldn't have happened.
No,
to me,
because I get it, because I could agree the same way, but I also could understand why because they still had the mindset that folks from NXT weren't actually ready for the main roster sense. Because again, you gotta always remember unfortunately in this company, they never really saw NXT as it was like the third brand. It still was considered,
which is ridiculous.
I mean, it's always going to be ridiculous to us, but again, that's always subjective. Like NXT,
right.
It's always like NXT in itself was supposed to be like that was like the reenactment of like the OVW of OVW. It was just like the rebirth of it.
But then it ended up becoming the indies of the WWE.
It became the indies of the WWE, and it really was just like the staple ground for all of our indie favorites to just go in and just stay. Because for the most part, like a lot of them did not want to even leave NXT. They just wanted to stay in NXT and not go anywhere, not go to the main roster, and that was going to start to be a problem. Like you can't want to just. I mean, there's nothing wrong with staying in the indies, but it's just like at the same time, if you want to be able to be more successful and gain more money, you do have to. It's a certain way that you have to change when you get to the main roster. It's different from it's a different
absolutely
style. But then again, we can't really say much because, like I said, NXT right now is being ran by Shawn Michaels, and you already see it. Like,
ain't Triple H back officially?
Huh?
Isn't Triple H back officially?
No, Triple H is just back, but he's not actually running it. It's still Shawn. Sean's still running.
Sean's still doing like a lot of the creative and working with.
Because I think it goes back to a conversation that Kevin Nash, he came down and he was watching them like NXT guys and girls rehearsing, and he's just like he's like yo, slow down, it's too fucking fast. And Sean had to look at him and be like, you can't do that. Times have changed. This is what it is now. Like it's all a walking spot fest.
Yeah.
And that's how you just know it's just like, well, that's the era. It is what it is.
Hey, Court.
What's going on, Court?
Oh, my bad. What's up, Court? Yeah, man. Well, it goes to, we just gotta wait and see what happens.
At this point, yep.
Yeah.
Just like Veer said, boom. And we gotta wait and see.
Wait, time out. First off, that was super creepy. Like, I'm not even gonna hold you. Like, honestly, if he doesn't become one of the Maxim male models, I think they're missing something.
I think they're missing something if they don't do that. That
would be for sure.
Making Veer Mahan.
Yep.
One of the max.
Yeah. So
okay. If you check his social media, it's literally him.
Nah,
it is.
I'm not gonna lie. He do be wearing some dope fits. Like
he's killing it.
I was surprised he wasn't one of those models in person. I was like, he wearing some dope fits. You know who I thought they were gonna do it with? Pretty Deadly. I thought I would have loved to see.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yes, boy.
Wait, which two? Since we're on the topic, and I just like randomly watched because I didn't watch NXT, but I saw the you know how WWE does their like top 10 of the night or whatever on YouTube.
Yeah, right.
Did not know that Jensen and that other nigga won the fucking titles.
Yeah, they did.
Tag team title. Yes, they did.
Yes, they did. Yes,
wait,
they did.
here's my question.
Briggs, by the way.
When?
About 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
About 3 weeks ago.
About 3 weeks ago.
Well, there I go. All right. Well, wait, hold on. Okay, was that Great American Bash or was it after that?
Before.
It was before, right before. And I think they popped up at Great American Bash with the titles, but Pretty Deadly is their current feud at this moment.
Yeah, well, they beat
boy.
them last week, right?
I believe so.
Yes.
So, yeah, okay.
Yes, boy.
All right, so let me get to these comments real
Love
quick.
Pretty Deadly.
Mark says, the day it goes back to the black and gold brand, we know Triple H is officially back.
It's never going back.
It's never coming back.
It's
that old
Kitty
thing
Payne.
is you want to watch NXT?
It
comes on every
NXT
Wednesday on TBS.
I mean,
Jesse goes, huh?
No, I'm reading what he was saying. I'm reading what he's saying.
Oh, yeah. Jesse said,
I don't think they'll do that again.
They did that in 2019. That's how they ended up on USA.
And they ended up beating the main roster's ass and never again. They just disappeared into obscurity.
I remember Adam Cole beating Daniel Bryan
and Seth
Rollins in the same week.
And Shayna Baszler.
So they put them over strong and
Survivor Series match.
Completely.
NXT.
Hold on. NXT. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, that year for Survivor Series, NXT dominated.
NXT, I think, won them one straight through.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
It was the men's match. The men's match, right?
SmackDown won the men's matches because they made sure that their golden boy wasn't losing.
Yeah, it was 4-1 and 2.
But even so, it was Keith Lee that was last eliminated by.
It was.
He was.
Keith Lee.
First off,
poor Walter.
Even when they invaded and they did the spot with Keith doing the moonsault off the second rope, because a lot of let's call them main roster fans don't watch NXT.
They don't. They did not.
Or your casual fan will not watch NXT. Man, they saw that boy Keith do that clean moonsault. Oh my god!
I miss Dijakovic, man. Dijakovic needs to drop that garbage ass gimmick. But
I mean, it's not his fault, sadly.
T-Bar is getting paid. T-Bar is getting paid the job and vibe.
Fortunately,
that's perfectly fine.
But he's not Marseille. But he is not Marseille.
He's not Marseille. This is true.
He's not Marseille. But
Marseille is getting a check and looking good.
Yeah, Marseille is getting a check and is able to sit here and live his best life.
And they also
that's great.
There's a little Pretty Deadly in those boys. You got to admit they are boys. So I will say that.
I can't.
You can't. What? They are yes boys.
A much better team.
What was that track I watched last night? We
covered it. Don't worry about it.
Oh, NXT. Oh, I mean AEW.
That's out of 10.
You did that already.
That's out of 10.
That's out of 10, and the options are only 1 in 10. So
what do you have left?
Man, listen. As a matter of fact,
Oh boy,
Stretch.
why'd
There
you
was
leave
something
that
I
for
wanted to
last?
talk to you.
Jesus.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Yes, boy.
How do you feel about your boys joining Joe Gacy?
You know,
He's
I'll
all
say
clean
this.
shaven now. Gibson's
I'll
all
say-
clean shaven.
Gibson
I'll say this. Jack Gibson, or I believe the new name is
Rip
what?
Fowler.
Rip Fowler. Yes. He
I
looks-
like Jagger Reed. That's an awesome.
Jagger Reed
fucking
is actually
name.
an
That's a
awesome name. I don't
great
care what
name.
anybody says. That's a
Great
really awesome
name.
fucking name. He does not look right without that beard. He looks completely scary without that beard.
Yo, for real.
I
Yo,
think
cute.
I actually have high hopes for. Wow, somebody hated it more than you.
I mean,
The scale is a work in progress. We haven't gotten to anything below 1 yet. Give him some time.
we can't scale it anything lower than a
You
one.
know, I'll say this. I think that given the level of talkers that are involved, I think Joe Gacy's not a bad promo. And I think
Not at
they're
all.
utilizing him correctly in this role because he's a man. Like I was telling you guys, I think his ceiling really is as a manager.
Mm-hmm.
You know, believe it or not, and I'm not just saying this because he's on the round side. He reminds me a lot of Paul Bear, and
Yeah,
that type of promo where it's like unsettling and very like different from anything that's going on. I think that the schism as a whole can work.
Yeah.
You know, and I like the gimmick of him being like kind of like this cult leader rather than where it was before, where he was kind of like, where people were like speculating if he's like a social justice warrior. Like I was joking, like he's like the quintessential social worker just by the way he's dressed.
Right.
This quintessential social worker.
The way he's dressed, he looks exactly like a social
But
worker.
I mean, technically, he didn't change his gimmick.
God.
No,
He's just not speaking the colloquialism
the
of
quintessential social
a
worker,
social
like,
worker
where
or a
did you-
social
I think
justice
that-
warrior.
I think that if they keep it straight and they don't add anything supernatural to it,
yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
that it will work.
Yep.
You know, I think it's
he's an enlightenment coach. That's it. Just keep it that
not
way.
only that, and like think about like kind of like the
No, man,
prevalence of like cults in society. Like I'm not saying this to say that they should breach this in any way, shape, or form. Like
Right.
the Nixon cult or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
The girl from Smallville was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
Allison
think
Mack.
it's something like. Obviously, I'm not saying like, oh, they have to do this, but we draw inspiration when it comes to characters from all types of different places. You have to realize these people are playing characters. The fact that he's a cult leader, they do have a lot to draw from, and they do have a lot that they can explore. Mm-hmm. As far as like, I like a perfect example. I like where it's going with Cameron Grimes. Where Cameron Grimes is like disenfranchised and he's angry that he's losing, and who comes along to try to guide him into his direction? Joe Gacy, like, I understand your pain. I see what, like, I understand your hurt and everything. And he's like, not now. And like Joe is just like, soon, you know, like he's marinating them, you know. I like where it's going. I do. I think people are so hung up on the fact that, you know, it's not like the typical, like, you know, indie guy shows up and wrestles. I like the fact that he has a character, and I think it's working for him, you know?
I think as I've said, even though we might have hated the rebrand in the beginning, I think NXT 2.0 is the perfect shot in the arm for that whole brand, because we've had a lot of wrestling, but we did not have character. And they are trying every bit of every corner of every book of literature or character creation that they can make to make everybody somewhat different.
I've said this from before. Yeah. I've said that 2.0 is probably the most entertaining wrestling show weekly. Obviously, I would say obviously the best wrestling period is probably NXT UK, bar none. I don't argue with your mother. Sure. There's no debating this. Like it, if you don't think that NXT UK is not the best wrestling show, period, you could just log right on out of this live stream. It's okay. We don't want your support anymore. But
whoa.
But NXT 2.0, it literally this is what was missing. This is what was missing in Black and Gold. Black and Gold was probably was some of the top-notch best wrestling, but there was no character development. Like this is why, like any of these guys that we love, they were great wrestlers.
Character work here.
That's not true.
Great wrestlers, but none
a
of them had character. None of them had character to be able to like
Velveteen Dream.
Characters in it.
One of maybe
Maybe
4 people.
Like it's like.
I mean, I guess
it kind of got to the point where kind of like what AEW, like one of my main gripes with AEW is like people just show up with no rhyme or reason. Like, there's no hype to it. It's just like here they are. Like
they're getting hype off of their previous work rather than actually building themselves up to be something. Like we know some of these people, like Wendy Chu or Karen Q.
Brother man,
bro.
Like we had Karen Q on there, which was Mei Ying and Tian Sha, and now she's Wendy Chu. And she went from Tian Sha, where she was, you didn't know who the hell she was. All she had was the grab gimmick, and she had the supernatural power. Now she's Wendy Chu, and she's doing fucking amazing.
Not only that,
I love Wendy.
But I was just gonna add one more thing with Wendy Chu, though.
She's my favorite.
The beauty of her character is she's still doing Mei Ying shit. You're not really paying it. You have to pay attention to it. I remember one match. I think it was the match she had with Tiffany Stratton.
I think it was to answer that question for what Mark put.
I disagree with his point.
Yeah, like it set the standard for what a developmental brand is. I guess
it wasn't really developmental then.
It was never developmental.
If you're just looking for, can't even say it was developmental because, like I said, everything with Black and Gold was all of our indie faves coming in. There wasn't anything developmental. None of these guys that came in Black and Gold.
If you continue with that trend, if you continue with that trend, I'll say this: what NXT was
maybe NXT 1.0.
What
NXT
it was,
1.0 was.
Yeah, what NXT was an alternative within that medium. It was radically different from presentation, how things were structured on a normal WWE show. I'll say that.
It was a hardcore wrestling fan show.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but it wasn't absolutely not. And here's why: nobody really developed. It was just it was
establishing indie stars for people that didn't fucking know.
Those cards from top to bottom, you might have gotten maybe out of like a standard takeover card, like at the peak of like NXT. Let's say like the peak of NXT we saw was like what NXT the New York, like the 25th one, where it was Adam Cole versus Gargano championship.
Yeah.
You might have gotten out of that whole card 3 people at most that were like started in the like either made their name from like being signed with the Performance Center and not anywhere else.
Yeah,
that's why I was tying in like with when Strike was talking. He was saying like these people are getting over because of their previous work. Like it's like when they change the names, it's like who this is.
Yeah.
So why do you care if they change the name of the presentation a little bit? You know who it is. It's like complaining like you see Brad Pitt and somebody says like, how dare they have Rusty from Ocean's 11 play Achilles? Why would they change his name to Achilles? It's still Brad fucking Pitt. You know who it is.
Exactly.
Like so what's the point?
Just remember that this is Black and Gold. Yes, Black and Gold was a time that you had Sami Zayn, you had Claudio, you had Kevin Owens, you had
he's talking about the jump.
You had Samoa Joe.
When NXT was like really starting to pop.
This era is like the era I'm speaking of is like when NXT really started to blow.
Prime. Yeah.
Prime one.
Yeah, when they started to sign the indie people, basically.
Right. You had the Johnny Garganos, the Tommaso Ciampas, the Kushidas.
Yep.
But guess what? Out of that whole line of class of folks that came through that Black and Gold, look at how many people actually got to the main roster and actually basically developed and transitioned their characters to be mainstays on the main roster. I wouldn't be able to.
Oh, Q. I just want to. Sorry, my froze up. My bad.
Yeah, my fault. Nah, it's cool. Because all I was saying is like there's only a couple of out of the whole class that that came through the prime of Black and Gold.
Right.
There's only a couple of that really able to be like mainstays that actually was able to develop and actually be able to be well, household names, if anything, on the main roster. You can't as much as we know how much of the best, how Kushida could be like, is probably, yes, is labeled as one of the best in the world. Kushida wasn't going to make it on that main roster. I don't believe so. Wasn't going to make it. He wasn't going to make it on that main roster. And we could be okay with that. Hell, as much as I don't even want to say, I don't want to say Pac couldn't do it. Because Pac was doing it when he was like a heel. When he was Devil,
so,
he was doing it.
Yeah, the issue with Pac was that the original, when he came up from NXT, they wanted him to play a Mighty Mouse character or something similar to it. No, but then when he goes heel and they're doing 205 Live and he's holding the Cruiserweight Championship, he's him. He's his. But that's the crazy part, is that was him before WWE.
Yep.
So I think, I agree with everything you're saying. At the end of the day, it sucks because there really were so many people that I feel like should have been in a more prevalent position than they were. We still got Finn, which is, but Samoa Joe came up. He should have won. All honesty, a missed opportunity was Joe holding the WWE title. The fact that he didn't beat AJ for it, I think was a fucking dumbass move.
I mean, yeah, but
plus with all the history they had already, come on.
Of course, I think that's the only bust is like, damn, Joe could have beat AJ, but then also AJ and Joe winning or losing, it could have went either way. I think Joe's run with WWE, I think, was only just.
He had a good run.
It unfortunately was just riddled with injuries. I think injuries have, and I think that's just at the point of Joe's career. The injuries are just catching up to him, so that's why it just people don't want to admit it because I could say the same thing. I don't. When is the last time that y'all have seen Joe on Dynamite?
Right, because it's been a few weeks. Like a month.
It's been a minute, and that's the problem I have with it. Is just like, like it's unfortunate. It's like, these injuries they're catching up to him. So it's just like, his run in WWE compared to his run in WWE and his run in, I guess you could say even now, Ring of Honor and in AEW, it's getting muddled just because of injuries. Samoa Joe was pretty much like he was unstoppable when he really was unstoppable when he first came in through NXT. He was unstoppable. We already know his career in the old version of Ring of Honor and Impact, unstoppable. Came into NXT, unfucking stoppable. He was probably the only other legit threat that we had to seeing him actually beating Brock Lesnar clean. He's actually the only one that we saw that knocked Brock Lesnar clean, actually made Brock Lesnar pass out. So it's just
he's one of the few people who never backed down from Brock.
Yeah, he never backed down. It just really
beat Brock for the record.
It just really sucks. It just really sucks. It's like those injuries just caught up to him, and it's just like, damn, it just fucked up.
Yeah.
So that's why I always say, like,
beat Brock for the record.
I mean,
you said he did beat Brock.
So I think he should have.
He should.
Oh no, I agree. Wait, no, that was for the title, right?
Yeah,
that's when he should have won.
Absolutely. Great Balls of Fire, ladies and gentlemen.
Great Balls of Fire.
Oh my god, that was Great Balls of Fire.
With phallic representation too on the poster.
I'm just gonna hit these comments.
Fiery balls.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Gotta go.
All right, so Court said, "I love Wendy Choo. I do too." Mark said, well, what I meant was that it was initially designed to be developmental. However, honestly, it became better than the damn main roster.
No lie. Now, that's subjective. But absolutely. That's subjective. I agree with it. But here's the thing. If you're going to brand something as developmental, you can't bleed that much money into it.
Right.
True.
That's the thing. Like, when you're developmental,
you know what I think also fucked up Black and Gold? What also fucked up Black and Gold was the pandemic, and also the fact that they were trying to go head to head with fucking Dynamite when they didn't need to. They didn't need to fucking go head to head.
Well, I mean, essentially, when you really think about it, Dynamite kind of imposed themselves on NXT.
No, No, I don't think so. I think when they
went live is when they fucked up.
I think and I think
when they took them off the network, that's when they fucked.
Right, that's what I was getting at. Everything that was special about them, that made them destination television, lost. It made it live. You took it off of its exclusivity to the network, and you put it in the forefront where, now that you have a live show, you have little to no room for error almost now.
Yeah,
right. Like, even if you wanted, what made NXT really good was
the editing.
You saw the stars of like the stars of tomorrow started out as jobbers.
Yeah, like
guys like Braun Strowman, for example, started out jobbing to like Baron Corbin because he was big. We started out as a jobber in NXT. Gargano, when they got there, losing in NXT.
She was a rosebud.
Right, she was a rosebud. Like, you saw guys and gals start from minimum.
Fuck!
Bailey,
Alexa Bliss, and Rose birthed the main roster right now. Yes, he did.
That's disrespectful.
What happened? I didn't get that.
That sounds like me. I would have pulled some bullshit like that. Like,
I was fair.
Anyway, that's crazy.
Here. Let me
see it.
Wait, hold on. Let me run through. I'm gonna get there. Mark has said, I've seen more incredible matches out of a takeover than I've seen in probably the last 4 or 5 Manias.
Hey, I don't give a damn what anyone says. Wee Man slamming Sami Zayn
was great.
A moment. I don't care what anyone says.
The Undisputed Era. They were awesome. Court says, hey, I was checking out the Ring of Honor lineup for Saturday, and funny thing, I noticed that they have a picture of Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia were girls right beside Martinez.
So they put I'm guessing they put their photos in front of Mercedes Martinez. And,
they did the wrong one?
Oh, God. That's horrible rendering.
Court says him and Bobby Fish are injury prone. I'm assuming she's talking about Samoa Joe.
Yeah,
and
I could agree
Mark
with that
says,
too.
listen, man, I went to the very first Dynamite in DC. Me too. And there were people there watching NXT up in the fucking bar. Oh yeah.
I would. That sounds like me. I would do some bullshit like that. Like, I'm gonna go get me a beer, and I'm like sitting there just watching NXT.
I believe it.
Y'all coming to be like, "What the fuck are you doing, Q?" Watching NXT.
Right. So let's run to this topic. Cornelius, Aloysius, Michael Jackson Brown Rhodes.
LeVar Rhodes.
It would be you to put that last.
Cornelius.
Cornelius LeVar Burton Rhodes won a fucking Emmy. Hey, I don't have to. Let's give him an applause, ladies and gentlemen.
It would be K Marvel to put that topic last.
Yep.
I mean, whatever, man. I was just trying to go with the flow. All right, shut up.
Listen, shout outs to Cody, Codell, Tadell, Ruffin Rhodes for winning. Those who watch P Valley, if you know, you know. But congratulations to Cody Faction.
I don't. That's funny.
No matter what. We could say whatever you want to say about Cody, that he could be racially tone deaf sometimes, that Cody is just like he could be pandering. Sometimes Cody is just could be annoying on certain
He's colorblind.
One thing about it is, no matter what, is that these kids fucking love this boy. The kids love Cody. So for him to get that standing ovation like that coming back at WrestleMania is almost you can't. The only thing that may have to come second to that, well, actually second and third to that would have been Bianca and Sasha main event at WrestleMania, or even just Taker getting that standing ovation at the Hall of Fame. You can't duplicate that shit. You can't. You cannot. You can never duplicate that shit ever. That type of cheer ever again. Never can. That man just got cheered in front of 50,000 people, and they marked just for him alone.
I think he may top it.
I'll say
I think he may top it.
Oh my god, that return is going to be
the return and the win.
If he's returning at the Royal Rumble, that
he's winning
where
Royal
they're
Rumble.
doing it at, it's going to shake. That stadium.
Wait, I'm gonna tell you the two moments that could I'm sorry. The two moments that Cody's return, like pop wise, can possibly be louder than A, Cena returning at number 30 at Madison Square Garden,
Mm-hmm.
and B, Triple H returning at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember that?
Let me ask this.
The cameras were shaking. That's how loud and crazy they were.
Take him to church, Stretch.
Let me ask this. And I know, I hate to mention this unsavory name, but you can't argue against the fact that this man got a standing ovation for over damn near 10 minutes on a random SmackDown. Does he get the Hulk Hogan 2003 like pop?
Oh,
when Hogan
returned. The one after the when he became red and gold, red and yellow again.
Yeah. He got a random pop on SmackDown, and they did not stop cheering for like.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
10 minutes,
absolutely.
Like straight. Every time he tried to speak, they didn't let him speak, but they kept cheering. And I'm like,
that might be close.
Sure, Hogan's the bastard or whatever have you. You know, we get that, but the fact that you can't argue with the fact that Hulkamania is still pretty lucrative. I
mean, obviously, Hulkamania is always going to make money. Right. It just doesn't.
It's still pretty lucrative.
Hulk Hogan might not make as much money, but Hulkamania will always make money.
Yeah, Hulkamania will always.
That font will never die. It won't die.
Oh yeah,
Terry Bollea, it will make a lot of money. Hulk Hogan will.
But I think it is safe to say it's so crazy just to see how many of these kids like really love Cody, and you try to wonder like why do y'all love this guy so? Why do y'all love Cody so much?
I don't wonder at all. I know why.
This is everything he's ever wanted. Like, listen, everything from the entrance in WrestleMania, like. I'm pretty sure that when he was at AEW, every single entrance he ever made, he dreamed it to be like the one he got at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
everything he's ever wanted.
I mean, that's what he said,
and he was not going to get this at AEW. Let's be honest.
He wasn't going to get it in AEW.
He straight said that on interviews. He was like, "That was literally what I was looking for." The fact, and like and we've spoke about this so many times on this podcast, but. People dislike them because of how either A, he booked himself, or B, Tony booked them. Because look, at the end of the day, Tony has final say. And multiple people. As a matter of fact, all four of the CEOs, or whatever the fuck you want to call them.
EVPs,
excuse me, said the same thing. At the end of the day, Tony says yes or no. So, people could only blame Cody, but for so much.
Tony didn't see the vision. He didn't see the vision.
Tony did not see the vision.
It's okay. But Vince
did say that adrenaline wasn't running.
I would think he did because he booked him like fucking Superman on AEW.
No.
You think so?
No, because
he booked him like
because if you really thinking about it, bro,
he really booked him like Spider-Man.
Because if you really want to talk about it, Eddie Kingston's over here getting booked like Superman, and he's getting washed every fucking twice 2 and 10.
I wouldn't even say he's getting booked.
No, he's getting booked like no.
Would you rather me say that he's getting booked? Would you rather me say that he's getting booked like Booster Gold? Would you rather me say that?
Like who?
Would you rather?
I mean, you could insult Eddie Kingston. I don't give a shit about that. But you're trying to say that. Cody, you're trying to say that, and he's getting booked like Superman. Cody got booked like fucking Superman, bro.
I don't know.
Look, let's be honest.
Not quite. I think he booked himself into a corner, but he could have easily booked himself out if he would have turned heel.
True.
He easily booked himself out of that corner. The fact that I'll never challenge for the world championship again.
Oh, that's cool.
Right?
Side note.
He could have booked himself out of that corner.
So apparently, Undertaker made a surprise appearance at San Diego.
Oh,
he has to promote his podcast.
Yeah,
that's right. He's coming out with a pod.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of which, Sami Zayn's on Broken Skull Sessions tomorrow, I think.
Yes.
This is either going to be
that episode.
This is either Taker having a podcast. It's either going to be either really good or really fucking bad. There's either
MAGA world.
There's no
MAGA world.
I don't think he's MAGA. I don't think so.
He's not.
He's just Blue Lives.
I don't even think he's breathing Blue Lives. Like Taker's just an old white man that just so happened to be wearing.
No.
That shirt.
He definitely supports. No, he definitely supports like, police and all that. But I think it's more. I don't think it's not racially based. It's
I think he was just an old.
Like me saying Red Lives Matter because somebody work at Target.
Like I think at this time, like you got to remember, like Taker's like 55 and shit. He just want to wear a shirt. He's not trying to be fashionable. He's just like, yo, fuck it. It's a nice shirt.
Right.
He doesn't want to put makeup on anymore.
Old Texan redneck.
That's like, oh look, the American flag with a blue line in it. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know.
Taker just doesn't want to wear makeup.
Stone Cold's more contemporary.
Word, like
no more
until you see his wife on like another wrestler that you see his wife at a fucking like rally or some type of freaking insurrection. I don't want to hear it.
Like the Wizard.
Like the Wizard.
Like the Wizard, yeah.
Like the
you know who pressed him the other day? Jesse Ventura. You should watch that episode of Talking Jericho.
Now that's
Jericho. Oh yeah, I heard that.
Jesse Ventura pressed the shit out of him, bro.
That's
Ventura kind of held him. Well, didn't really hold him to task, but was saying a lot of things that, like, I think the average
person would think,
common sense and dignity would look at, like saying basically the Republicans tried to overthrow the government. And Jericho's just sitting there like, yeah.
All right, so
let me see this comment.
What happened, Q?
The recent comment.
The comment, yeah. I was going to it. All right, so before we promote a couple things and get off the air, our sister Courtney. As a matter of fact, hold on. You know what? No, let's do it like this. First and foremost. Let's do it like this. July 23rd, the CNC Connection podcast has the very first show at 7 p.m. That is our friend Courtney and her sister. We are very excited. We are so ready for this podcast. We're ready for y'all to just go on and do your thing. So the reason why I wanted to promote it first is because she put out this question. Any advice for sis on her very first show on Saturday?
I got advice for you. Have fun.
Yeah. Main things to have
literally
enjoy that you are enjoying, have some fun. Don't look at it seriously.
It's stretch dancing.
Seriously. Have fun.
Enjoy yourself.
Man's dancing.
Take your time.
This is how we dance.
Honestly, Court, do not get so caught up in the moment of the show. It needs to be perfect. Mm-hmm. It's your first episode. Right. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna go through some mishaps. You're gonna go through some obstacles. It's not gonna be perfect, but as long as you're able to laugh, have fun with it. I would also say don't be like us and keep saying I'd say, like, if anything, that's the one thing I'd say for the most part. Work on not saying
as a guy who's done public speaking.
Like as we've all done public speaking at some point in time. Just always be a reminder, don't try to say as much. Don't say it as much. I mean, obviously, you guys are you're fairly new. You guys are coming into the game. I'm not going to tell y'all to be like, oh, no cursing. Shit, curse as much as you need to. Until y'all get monetized, then that's when you got to work on like cleaning it up a little bit more. But shit, have fun.
For the kids.
Curse as much as you need to. Don't worry if it messes up. Don't worry if the shit goes slow or it lags. It's a little bit of laggy. There's always going to be some problems happening. Just laugh. Just laugh it up.
Yeah.
Laugh it up and have a good time.
Trust. There's been very bad lag. It's okay. Just push through. We've been in a bad lag situation. just push through.
Exactly.
We've been through more than just that.
And like trust and believe, like we're not even monetized yet, and we're still like sitting here trying to minimize on trying to not curse as much. Also, and one
do we
fuck out of here?
Are we?
Don't we try? It doesn't work. I'll say
maybe
this,
you
do not.
I probably
do not. I'd say this: start from early. Make this sit with you from going forward. Do not try to sit here and have 3-hour episodes. Don't do it. It's a shift. It does not work. It hurts.
Don't make a 4-man podcast. It's going to go on for hours.
No, not even that. Hold on. Wait. Let me say it like this. When it comes to timing,
Yeah.
Just try your best to be aware. That's really all you can. If
like
it does go 3 hours, then let it be natural. That's my advice. Just let everything be as natural as possible. Don't try to force anything. Don't try to force anybody to say anything. Don't try to force don't even try to force yourself. Like if you forget, don't stress it. Shit happens. You know what I mean? But honestly, one of the best things about like I can say this with speaking about a sport. One of the best things is that you're doing it with somebody. You have somebody that you can fall back on if you kind of lose a thought or jumble up your words. Um, and don't be ashamed. Like shit happens, man. It's just like this is really number one. You're doing this for the love. Make sure you maintain that. That's number one. Number two, like Stretch said, man, just have fun. Like this is for some of us, and by some of us, I don't just it's not just us four. It's a lot of different podcasters. This is a really good stress reliever. Regardless of what's happening in our lives, regardless of what's happening between the four of us personally, like whether it's our individual personal lives or even us together, and I'm not ashamed to say this, we bump heads. We tend to bump heads a lot, but the fact of the matter is that we know that we're doing this, and we know that the love is there, and we know that we're here to push each other forward. Make sure that you just don't forget to have fun, and make sure that this is all about pushing yourself forward, pushing yourself to a position to be seen and be heard. You now have a public platform where however you feel, whatever things that's going on or the shit that you care about, you can speak about it. We talk about mental health all the time. I bring up my daughter, like we tend to bring up family. QS talks about his issues. Like we all talk about our issues sometimes, and it really is, at the end of the day, it truly is a blessing, because these last 2 years have been some of the most eye-opening years for me, and part of that is because of this podcast. And I can truly say I don't think I would be talking to the people I've been talking to recently, or even been able to shake a wrestler's hand because of this podcast. So just have fun, man, because you don't know where it can take you. And look, our first year we didn't think we'd be able to do some of the shit that we've done. So, well, within our first 2 years, I should say, so
shit,
just have
in
fun.
our first year, we did mad shit that we didn't think we were gonna do.
Yeah, no, that's true too. That's true too. So at the end of the day, just have fun. That's really it.
I'll interject real quick, just say something real quick. It's your first show. Go wild. Mistakes happen. There's always the next show. There is always the next show. So you're gonna forget things, as was mentioned. You're going to stumble on your words. You may be nervous. Shit happens. Shit. Go back all the way to episode 1 of season 1 with us.
Oh my God!
It
Please
was.
don't. Please don't.
It was chaos, but it was controlled chaos to a point. So just like riding a bike,
The first episode
just
wasn't
like
too bad. The second and third episode was when shit really got weird.
well, remember it's still the beginning stages. So
No,
you're on your bike, you're on your training wheels at this moment.
Yeah.
Just let it ride. Once you're ready to kick off those wheels, once you start getting collaborations, once you start getting to your first anniversary, once you start really reaching out and getting the traction that you want to get, things change.
Yep.
Ideas change. Sometimes passion changes. Sometimes it needs to be rekindled. Sometimes you need a break. That's just generally how life is. So for your first show, you don't have to make it your best show.
Nope.
But make sure that you're being shown. Make sure that people understand who you are. Make sure people get a feel of, what the podcast is going to be about, what it can evolve into. and just take it episode by episode, week by week. Don't even stress that.
Focus on your diction. Just make sure your posture's okay. Have good lighting. Smile. Laugh.
Cry.
Oh, sorry.
Nah, I mean, cry.
You really cry?
I mean,
you can laugh till you cry.
I mean, if you have to, I'm not going to tell you like cry on cue. Like, no, just
wait. Listen,
you really need
look,
to.
I'm not ashamed to say it. I've cried on this podcast.
Just take all the love in. Take all the love in, because this is a joyous moment. Like I said, like it's not easy. It's not. You're gonna see and realize that it's not easy doing a podcast. It is not a walk in the park. It is hard work. But as long as you guys continue doing the work and you guys keep at it, you guys are gonna be fine. Y'all fine.
Thank you for bringing that part up.
You're gonna enjoy it. You guys
do not treat it as a job. The minute you treat it as a job, it is not fun anymore.
It's not.
Do not treat it as a job.
Absolutely.
You go to work, you get paid. You work somewhere where you may not like, but you're getting paid. This is something you're doing for fun, and then when you start making that
right
money,
now for free.
Exactly. But when you start hitting that stride and start making that money, do not change it into a job. Business is business. That is true. But this is your passion. This is something that you love. Treat it just as that.
Right.
Don't make the process too formulaic. Let it flow. A lot of the times with this podcast, we are literally finishing each other's sentences.
That's right.
Or literally, we not even thinking about it, and we're flowing into whatever whatever everybody's saying. So be as natural as possible. Love what you're doing. Enjoy what you're doing. Hey, you may not get 50 people viewing the video. Who cares? You make that video, you put it out there, you share it. By the time maybe 2 months comes, you might have 30 subs. Shit, it took what? It took us what, a year and a half to get to 100 subs?
About a year.
It's about. No, over that.
Now we're well over that. We're well doubled over that at 209. I mean, not well. Well, it's 209, so it's like 9 over double, but
a little over.
But I'm just trying to keep the positivity.
No, I know. Yeah. Very last thing I'm gonna say, and then we'll do these promos and then shout outs and then we out. Just remember to not take anybody else's opinion to heart. Negativity is going to come. You are going to have doubters. You're going to have people say, "Why the fuck are you doing this?" It's none of their fucking. It's none of their business. It's none of their reasoning. You don't have to prove shit to anybody. Just have a good time. So, on top of that, we got, like I said earlier, we got the CNC Connection podcast debuting July 23rd at 7 p.m. We have ROH Death and Dishonor this Saturday at 8 o'clock. So CNC Connection will be on an hour before Death and Dishonor will be on. There's a hell of a lot of matches going on.
You have a pre-show as well, but watch CNC Connection first. The pre-show you can always watch after.
Watch that
first. We got Rita Euler versus Daniel Garcia for the pure heavyweight ROH Pure Championship. We have the Briscoes versus FTR for the ROH Tag Titles in a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Can't fucking wait.
We have the ROH Champion, Jonathan Gresham versus Claudio and then we also have Mercedes Martinez versus Serena Deeb for the women's title, and the last one I know of is Samoa Joe versus Jay Lethal for the TV title. So tomorrow night, Saturday night is going to be epic as hell. Also, SummerSlam is July 30th. We'll talk a little bit about that next week. And we cannot forget BCW's 5th anniversary show is also July 30th. If y'all can make it out to East Rutherford, New Jersey, please go check it out. We got my boy the Rev Ron Hunt, part of STP, 3 belt holder versus Mr. Darius Carter. What does he have 5? No, he still has 4 titles, right?
I believe 4. It'll be a spirited contest that the Reverend will find God.
Oh my God, that match is going to be fucking insane. But it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh man,
gentlemen, shout out real quick. Shout out. All right, cool. So you can catch Coffee with Rev on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30. I sadly missed it this morning. I was knocked out. Not knocked out, but like sleeping. But your boy's on there. So come through, check it out. Also, Brand Supremacy. I don't think we're doing an episode next week because life, but make sure you check that out on our YouTube page. Can I think of anything else? Not right now.
Not really.
Next Friday, July 29th, we're gonna have that good old. Like I said, I'm gonna keep promoting until even next week's episode. I'm gonna promo it again for MBT4 Live. They got their 2000 edition with Miss Truth and Blaze. They're gonna sit there, have a 2000. They are having a 2000s live show. This is not even. No, this is not a party. It is a live episode, radio show.
Not a fet, y'all.
Nope, it's just a live entertainment show. It's all 2000s vibes, 2000s vibe, 2000s gear. Make sure you get your tickets off the Eventbrite. You can go look it up. MBT Radio, MBT4. Type that in. You'll see it'll be the 2000s editions party. Tickets, I believe, are $25. It's all going to be there in Williamsburg. As always, come out, pop out, have fun. Pop out in your latest 2000s gear. If you got it, if you got to go to a thrift shop and shop real quick, get a jersey real fast, go ahead and do that. But just know, like, it is 2000. It is 2000 attire.
Brothers get your swingman jerseys. Ladies get your jersey dresses.
Yes.
Yup.
Oh, wow. I would die to see some jersey dresses.
Again, man. Check out our boys Behind the Barricade. Monday nights, you gotta Behind the Barricade with Rodney and Chris. And on Thursdays, before our podcast, I believe starting at 6, you got Andrew's Hot Takes. So make sure you go. They are definitely on Facebook and Twitch. So make sure to go support Behind the Barricade. Also, just a couple things. Those wrestling girls, Jabba Tears,
Dirty Heels.
I'm sorry. Dirty Heels.
Backstage Brawl.
Backstage Brawl. Like look, honestly, there's too many to count, but we love you guys. We support you guys. Thank y'all for always supporting us.
Indeed.
What?
Indeed.
Oh,
Indeed.
Cool. And as we do, let's do what we do. Bam.
You see it below. That's where you can find me in my new clean-shaven corporate appearance.
Oh boy.
This is his cane look. Okay.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. Corporate stretch. Okay.
Corporate stretch.
As you know, yes, you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Forever Defense. As always, it's a pleasure. Always as a like, share, subscribe.
That's right.
Be sure to support. Thank you again for everybody tuning in. Thank you again for rocking with us for all this time. I mean, be sure to be safe and be blessed, and please stay cool because it is extremely fucking hot outside.
Yes, stay cool. Make sure you guys drink. The air quality is pretty bad. It's so hot, the air quality is bad. So please, you don't have to go outside. Stay in, stay safe, stay hydrated. Please.
The heat. Yeah. I hate the heat.
Sorry, I gotta get back.
That is coming from not only the Human Encyclopedia, but the Human Encyclopedia Britannica corporate branding.
Oh boy, there we go.
Corporate branding.
Corporate branding. He went from a soft cover to a hard cover.
Indeed.
My God. Indeed.
It's me, Striker Dragoon, once again, and I guarantee I'm not with any of that PC shit. But Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch are all the same. Striker Dragoon. YouTube in the description below. Just slowly getting my subs up, trying to get to 50. If I get to 50, you guys get a free game. If I get to 100, I get an official channel and you get a free game. So definitely check out my streams. I stream Monday to Wednesday. Well, sorry, I'll say Sunday to Wednesday or Saturday to Wednesday, I guess we say. And that's about it. Fun time.
Make sure all you pukes subscribe. This is Sergeant Slaughter talking, you maggot. Make sure all you pukes, you human pieces of garbage, subscribe to his Twitch. 50 subscribers, you get a free game, maggot.
And as always, I am your man, K Marvel. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Mr. Marvel87. You can follow my Twitch at Mr. Marvel _87. Also, make sure to check us out. Check out Brand Supremacy on our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/The Council of Commentary. But you can also follow that on Instagram and Twitch at The Council of Commentary. You can follow our TikTok at Council of Commentary. And you can follow our Twitter at CO Commentary. Ladies and gentlemen, tons of tweeting. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't support y'all. Y'all support us. Thank you so much.
I mean, we really support them too.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, of course we do. Yeah, but like not financially. Ladies and germs, we are your right? We are your Four Corners of Commentary. Bam. And we out. Peace.